Ahoy there, shipmates. Well, this is different from pool. This is Sailaway, the sailing simulator, and it's on early access on Steam. And I've never had a sailing game before in my life. I've never been sailing. I know nothing about sailing. I don't know how to tack. I don't know anything about the sheets. So basically you're not going to learn anything from this video. So I thought, as I was from Scotland, I thought we would sail Doonthe, and I'll show you on this map. If we zoom out, that's where I started. This is where I am at the moment. But for anybody who might be interested, I live over here. Although it's not marked on the map, I live over here in Kilmarnock, and this is the Firth of Clyde. The River Clyde comes out of Glasgow, and this whole area here is called the Firth of Clyde. That's the island of Arran, and I am sailing between Arran and the Doonthe Peninsula, which is there. I've got some waypoints marked out on the map, as you can see, and I'm heading down to the Ailsa Craig, which is quite a famous landmark, especially for the golfers, over at Doon and over at Turnberry. So Doon is excuse me, is over here somewhere, and Turnberry is down here, and I'm going to sail right down to the Ailsa Craig. Now, as I say, I know nothing about sailing other than what the boat is doing. It's aimed in a particular direction, and it will follow that direction unless I change it. But in terms of adjusting the sails or anything like that, totally rookie. Just got the game a couple of days ago, so don't expect, as I say, any useful information as far as that goes. This video isn't for that. This is purely a pleasure cruise. This degree thing that you can see, the compass thing you can see on the actual video, that's the tactical view. I've got that on. That can be switched off here, I believe. I think it is. That's it. We've got rid of it. You can zoom in and out in your boat. You can change the different views. If I hit the button, you can go to different points on the boat. These are all the maps, all the sort of menus for the different settings for the sails, which I haven't a clue about, and I won't worry about that until we've got well into the game. And you can basically look around the boat, and wait till I get this damn thing. Hang on, I've got the wrong button. Yeah, you can look around the boat, he says. I'll get the annotations on, that's what it is. And you can steer the boat, and in fact I'll go back to the point where you can steer the boat. Hold on. You hit the little wheel there, and that will take you to where the tiller is. Now I know that that's called the tiller. That's about the only thing I've learned. So we're heading sort of southeast down to the Ailsa Craig. We'll zoom in to see how we are tracking at the moment. We've got the boat heading on this trajectory to join up with our waypoint marker, and the first one is down there, and then we have to set a course change to go further south. So we will go to the external view. Now over to our left as we are sailing, so over that direction, that's the island of Arran, and over that direction, that land that you can see on the horizon, that's the Doonthe Peninsula. So we're going to be going through the gap between Doonthe and Arran, and if we look at the GPS, there's a few things here that you can get information from. The depth of the water that we're actually travelling above or below us at the moment is 314 feet. The time to reach the next waypoint is going to be, according to that, looks like 1 hour and 30 minutes. And this is our global position. These abbreviations, bearing to waypoint, that tells us the direction we're going in relation to the actual next waypoint. That's all gobbledygook to me, I haven't a clue. But I suppose if you want a relaxing few hours, you can sail your boat. And this is an old tradition in the west of Scotland, sailing down the water. People used to get on the Waverley, and that would be their day trip. They would go to, they might go to Brodick on Arran. They might go up to Doon, various places like that. Well, I'm sailing south, folks. What I'm led to believe is that this uses real world weather data. It's a pretty reasonable day up here. It looks like a reasonable day, and the sea looks fairly calm. Hang on a minute, who's that? Oh, you're talking about sailing. Oh dear. As I say, you won't, if you watch this from the start, you ain't going to learn anything about sailing in this video. This is not an educational video. I need to stress that profusely. This is a numpty on a boat and pointing the boat in the general direction of where he wants to go, and hopefully we'll get there. I'll tell you what happened. The first day I got this game, I worked out how to spawn the boat, but I actually spawned the boat on the rocks next to a lighthouse. Took me 2 hours to get the damn boat out. Oh dear. Right, so but earlier on today I actually had I had a waypoint out in the Atlantic, and I was heading to the west coast of Ireland. And I can tell you this, out in the Atlantic it was a lot rougher than what it is here. This is all sheltered waters off the mainland, so it doesn't generally get that bad here. I mean, we do get stormy weather, but today is a very nice day. The wind is coming from north-northwest today, which again would suggest that it is using real world data, because the weather forecast is telling us that the winds are heading in from the northwest. But the weather seems set fair. We're doing okay. We're heading in the general direction of where we want to go, and all is plain sailing at the moment. The other thing is you can have online races. Let me just go into the menu. The boat will continue sailing away while we look at this here. If you look at the activities, you've got the tutorials which I've done, and again I never learned anything in those because it was all, you might as well have been speaking Welsh, because I haven't got a clue. If you look at the challenges, there's various different levels of challenges, sailing point to point, and I suppose once you get your sea legs in this game, then you can go on to all of these challenges, because no doubt they will be progressive and they'll get more difficult. If we go back, you've got the races, and this I presume at the moment, being as it's early access, these are all set races by the developers. I don't think any of these are user created races, because that isn't available yet, and I think that's still to come. But you'll see that all of these races have different categories, so if you're a total numpty like me, there's not a race there that would suit me, because I think they're all manual. So you have to adjust all your ropes and your sheets and all of that stuff, and that'd be no good to me. And they're all in various locations all around the world, and of course, being as it's a full-scale map basically that you're sailing on, if you want to sail around the world and take months to do it, you can do it, because the boat will sail automatically while you're in your bed. And if you're registered on the website like I am, and like probably most of the people who have the game, you can get notified by email where your boat is, sort of stuck in the middle of the Pacific somewhere. So that's all the set races. And then the last one is open invitation. So if you've got any friends, which you'll notice is blank, I've got nothing. Oh, lonely me. But you can actually send out invitations to your friends. I think you can bring them on your boat or something like that, and you can get them operating the winches and things or whatever, and you can both sail to a specific destination. Now, as for destinations, the game doesn't have it doesn't have ports. I mean, you can't sail from Liverpool to Sydney or something stupid like that, because there are no ports to dock in, which seems to be a bit of an oversight. You basically sail from one point in the sea to another point in the sea, and that's it at the moment. So because it's early access, they'll be listening to a lot of ideas from people, putting things in and taking things out, no doubt. But it looks reasonable. I've got everything up full blast, of course. They could probably make a few improvements, especially to the landscape. Let me just resume, because if you look at the landscape, when you look at the landscape in the distance, of course you've got a sort of width of sea to go across to get to land, but it looks to me that the land is floating. It's probably just deceptive, but when you go down low, it's not until you go down low to the sea that you can see the land is there, but when you go high, it looks as if it's floating. It must just be my eyesight. But the sea effects are reasonably good. I mean, I could say that I've seen better in Grand Theft Auto in the sea effects, and also in other games that have got water effects in them. There's certainly other games out there that have got far better water effects than what there is in this game. I can certainly comment on that. But you're only seeing the sea on a sort of fairly gentle state in this video. There's not an awful lot happening. So we're heading, let's just zoom out. We're now in the gap between the Kintyre Peninsula and Arran, and we've got a ways to go yet to get to that first waypoint where we have to make that turn, or else we'll head into shipwreck basically. But the water's more than deep enough for us to go through here. You've got big boats and everything got up here. You've got what do you call them, submarines running up here, heading up to wherever the hell they go to take their nuclear stuff and shit like that with them. So you can see I've only travelled that distance, which isn't very far. I'm going at see, this is another thing for my eyes. The speed we're going is about 4.3 knots, which is probably about 5 miles an hour in real terms, because a knot is a bit faster than a mile an hour, if you know what I mean. And we're showing presumably an hour and 27 or 24 minutes to get to the next waypoint. How about the Dripping Vixen? What the hell is that? Yeah, oh no, I see what you mean, the name of the boat. Yeah, I haven't worked out, I don't see any option, that's another thing. If you look at the boat, if I zoom in on the boat, you'll see that the boat is called My Boat. Now, if there's an option in the menu to change the name of your boat, I haven't found it yet. I don't know whether you have to get into game files and edit it or something, but every boat is called My Boat. And if I go into the options, I haven't spent hours looking through the options, but if you go there, you've got gameplay, which is there, and this is all the preset buttons for the different functionality of the boat and various other things. But I don't, at least I haven't noticed anything about changing the name of the boat. Yeah, zooming in and out, speed, I'm going to increase that a bit to make the zoom a bit, well, hopefully that makes it faster and not slower. No, you can notice there is no option there. The email frequency, that's when your boat is sailing through the night when you're in your bed. and it will send you, the game will send you an email maybe every 4 days if you want, or I've got it every 6 hours, and a minimum of 3 hours, and it'll send you a notification about where the boat is. Other than that, no adjustments to changing the name of your boat in there. Video, I've got it on 1920 by 1080 full HD. I've got it up, graphics quality 100%, and all the other stuff is on. It certainly doesn't struggle in my PC. It's a good PC and a good graphics card, good memory, so I've had no glitches that way. It's all running very smoothly, but as I say, the water effects I've seen better. No doubt they will possibly improve those things. Right. Well, it's going to be a leisurely sail. The other point is that I could easily have this video going on for hours and hours and hours. Try the boat option was above the options. Where was that? I never noticed that. I'm going to try it again. Options. I know the boat option there is to choose your boat. Oh, wait a minute, edit boat appearance. I never noticed it. It just showed you I'm new to the game. Right. That now you will believe that I'm a total rookie and I've just got the game basically. Boat name. Right. Now what did you call it there? That's far too long to fit in the boat, the Dripping Vixen. I know what I'll call it. And this is oh wait a minute, the name's just gone straight out of my head. Hang on a minute. I want to be traditional to Scottish sailing down the Clyde, and also to, what do you call the programme again? Oh, that's what I'm going to call it. I'll spell it better than that. Right, Parahandy, that'll do. Well, that's far too bloody silly looking. Yeah, that's better. Now, we'll have it in a nice bright green. What else will I have? I haven't got time to do all of this shit. Home port. Home port colour. I don't see anything changing here at all. Home port. You can see very light changes. Hull above waterline. Right, so you can change the colour of the hull. Now what colour's that? I don't want blue. I want something sort of creamy goldy. No, I prefer that. Deck and cabin. Well, that's a bit garish. I'll go for that. Deck Anti-slip. Oh no, that is... Wow, it looks like a licorice all sort. Like that. No, I like that better. Where the hell's the foils? What the hell is that? Is that the things at the back there? Right, we'll have that colour then. And the flag. Oh, right. I bet they don't have a bloody Scottish flag in this. I bet you it's a shitty Union Jack. No offence to those who might be watching, but why the hell's it taking so long to go down this thing? Oh, there we go. There it is, the Union Jack. Bet there's not a Scottish flag in this. It would never surprise me. But I sure as hell ain't having a Union Jack on it. I'll put the Irish flag on it if there's not a Scottish flag, because of my Irish ancestry. There we go. We'll have that. Mainsail, right, what the hell colour will we have there? That'll do it. The jib, that'll be the big one there then. I don't see anything changing. I don't see anything that is... Am I just blind? And mind you, I was blind, I couldn't see how to adjust my boat, but... No, I don't see anything changing there, that's... No. Ah, right, that's the big one. Right. Yeah, Parahandy. Google Parahandy, and you'll see that we had the Vital Spark, which was a Scottish BBC Scotland comedy programme back in the 70s, and it was about a puffer boat that sailed down the Clyde. It was actually filmed off the coast of Arran, and the captain of the boat was Parahandy, so that's why I chose Parahandy. Only Scottish people of a certain age will remember that. Yeah, that'll do. Aluminium. Oh, that's the mast. Is it? I don't see anything changing there. Anyway, that'll do for that one. Black aluminium. Oh, that's the trim. I'll have that orange. Stainless steel. Matted steel. Steel wire. So that's the cables for the boat. We'll have them orange. White items. That the tiller. We'll have that dark. Jesus Christ, how many bloody things can you change in this thing? That'll do it. Right. Now, what do you think of that? That's horrible looking. But it's the Parahandy. Right, anyway. Back to the trip. Where the hell are we going? We've got 56 minutes to get to the first waypoint. We'll check the map. We'll zoom in and see if we need to actually... I think we need to adjust our position here because we're sailing... We're not on the track, so I'm going to go down onto the boat, find the bloody steering thing, and see if we can turn it in the right direction. Right, that's holding us a line till towards the waypoint line, and I'll make sure by checking that we're maintaining our heading for the time being. So if we now go to outside the boat, and again on this, if I can get, where the hell's the mouse cursor? I can't see it. We're looking. We're heading that direction, so this is our left hand side. So that's our left hand side there. So that is Arran. And because we're zoomed in, you can't see it, but that is Kintyre. And for anybody else who wants educating, down here is the Mull of Kintyre. And I think that's... I'm trying to remember the name of that. It's, well, that one there's called Sheep Island, but this one here isn't. That's Sanda, that's what it is, yeah. And that's Rathlin Island off the coast of Northern Ireland. So you can see it's a proper world map. If we zoom out, you see the UK. If we keep going, you can see the whole of the bloody world. And if you want to, you can sail down, you can sail the 7 seas, put it that way. There's Antarctica down there. You've got North, South America, the whole of the Pacific. What the hell's that there? I don't know what that marker is there. Anyway, they're all the South Pacific islands there. So it's just a normal world map. Except you can sail anywhere on it if you have the notion to. Somehow I don't think I'll be that dedicated. There are certain areas in the map that are marked out. As I say, I've not been to any of them yet, and I'm assuming from what I've heard by talking to the guys online that there isn't any harbours yet, although that might be added. And another point to mention as well is when you go down here at the bottom of the screen, you can keep the chat out of the way, but you can bring it up and you'll see information here, like system information is telling me that we have 35 miles to go to our on our voyage from Skipness to Lendlefoot. Now Lendlefoot is a village sort of on the mainland near Girvan, near the Ailsa Craig, so it's given that as a location. And this is telling me that the boat will maintain its direction that it's set to. If we look at this tab, these are all the people that are online playing the game, and of course you can chat backward and forward. You can actually set your boat to spawn next to theirs. You can have your own little races if you want. This has given me a tip. It says you can't operate blah 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 because I've got everything automatic. Well, I already know that. You can also, instead of watching all the chat that comes up, you can have it limited to within a 20-mile radius of your boat. So that way you're not going to pick up a whole load of chat, and if you've got a couple of mates online who are sailing close by, you can talk to them. Or if you have them on your boat, you can talk to them as crew. If you're stuck and you need some advice, you can request who can help me and see if somebody will help you there. So that's basically what the chat system does. Right, let's get rid of that. Let's now go back to where we are on the map. Where the hell are we? We're up here. So we're zooming right in on the UK. There's our waypoint markers where we're going, and the boat should now be almost tracking. Well, it's still way off the scale here. Let's get that adjusted. So we'll get the tiller turned so we're heading in that direction to get out into the channel more, because we want to keep away from any shallow water. Now earlier on today, although it's not shown on the map now because we're in coastal waters, but you'll get little lines running through, little lines and arrows coming down from various directions. That will show you what way the wind is blowing. We've not got any here because there isn't much wind. So we're now tacking to head west to get back onto this line. And we're doing, what, about 6 knots? That's not bad. Yeah, I think the most action you're going to get in this game is winding all your cables and knots and everything. That's probably the most action you'll see. Although if you are into learning about, you know, how all these ropes and things work, then I dare say you could have hours of fun sailing and racing with your buddies online. The thing is that when you're on a point here on the boat, you can actually still turn and have a good look around you to get your bearings. It looks a nice day. This map here as well, if you want, you can shrink that down to its smallest size. Obviously with my eyes I have to bring it up bigger so I can see what the hell I'm doing. That about suits me. So back to our trajectory here. We're heading west still, or more or less due west, to try and get this back on track. And we're quite a ways away from doing that, I think. And we'll get there eventually. And back out. Where's the sun? Because you can't. There isn't a free roam camera where you can zoom away out or anything like that. This is as far as you can go. But I don't see the sun. Certainly you can see the moon at night, and you can see all the constellations and the stars and that sort of stuff. But you'll notice there's a distinct lack of what do you call them, seabirds. You know, there's no wildlife or anything like that. What I was saying to some of the guys online, I was saying I'm surprised that, for example, you don't see any sort of things leaping out the water occasionally. If you're out in the Atlantic or the Pacific and you're sailing, you might see the odd porpoise. If you were really lucky, you might see the occasional whale now and again, but there's no noise of seabirds, there's no gulls following your boat. You know, these are little finishing touches that they might add, you would think. Then again, it depends whether the game lives or dies, but most of the people that have been playing this, who I have to say quite a lot of the feedback is from people who do know how to sail and they do know how to steer a boat and stuff like that, and they're giving it the thumbs up as far as that goes. Oh, there's the sun there. Finally found it. There it is, up there. But I am in no position to comment good or bad in terms of how good it is at sailing. I just know that it's on autopilot and I'm going to get there eventually. Let's just zoom in a bit more, see how this line is going. Well, we're almost there, so we don't want to. I think I've actually overdone it. We're going the other way now. Let's get it sharply turned and head southwest, which is roughly where we're wanting to be. So a little dotted line should be pointing along that line. That's pretty much it. Let's just check that we're holding that bearing. What does that one do again? No, that's angled to the wind. Now that we are set on that trajectory heading southwest, the boat has slowed down because we're now, the wind is actually the wind direction is not as relative, it's not as good to where it was when we were going that way, because the wind was, I think the wind's sort of coming that direction, but we're not getting the best of it now because I think we've slowed down to 4 knots, but we're more or less holding the line that we need to. Let me just get that adjusted again. That should be about it. Oh, this is going to be probably one of the most boring videos I've done yet for many people. Most of them are boring, but this is probably the best. I think the only one that betters this is the fishing one I did. I mean, that fishing game thing, that was really exciting. But this doesn't quite top the fishing one, but the sailing one, certainly I would suggest as an acquired taste. As for learning, oh, there's where we came from that marker there to here, so we've only gone that far. We've still got 49 minutes to go. Now that 49 minutes is to get to that marker there, and that's still, we're not through the passage yet between Kintyre and Arran, and then we've got another one down there. So I mean, this trip here is probably a good, what, 6 or 7 hours worth, probably. However, not to panic. You can either go on the autopilot and the game will continue sailing the boat, or you can do this. You can actually go up here, and that little symbol there, the little anchor, if you hit that, the boat will stop, it will turn into the wind, the sails will go down, and you'll drop anchor wherever you are, and then you come out of the game. When you start the game again, your boat will still be sitting in the same spot, and you can then resume your journey, which is handy. So you don't have initial game saves or anything like that in this. You don't go and load a game. Whenever you start the game will start where you left your boat. Right. We seem to be on a reasonably good trajectory now, although when you zoom in close you can see we're still off it, but we're heading in the general direction. It's probably going to catch up with the line further on. So we're getting a good view of the coastline, what there is of the coastline. And thanks to some online assistance, I managed to work out how to adjust the colours of your boat and how to give it a name. Now you notice how that's going out of focus there. You notice that? Let me just let me zoom in again. No, it's okay now, but I noticed it was going out of focus. Who would ever sail in a ship this colour? That is absolutely disgusting. It's horrible. So I think we're just hitting 4 knots at the moment, just nudging on it. And the sea's definitely changed colour as well from when I was out in the Atlantic. Different sea state, much more calmer. I mean, we're talking about a big 15-20 foot swell that I was sailing in earlier on today. Oh no, we're not there yet. Do you not hear me saying it's going to take about 6 or 7 hours? This is going to be an epic video, this. Let's see if there's any guys saying anything. I feel sad at leaving Jamaica. There's somebody. We say farewell to Jamaica and turn south towards Cape Horn. Well, he's in for some fun and games if he's going to sail down there. Be tossed about like a cork. There's a guy. There's a guy saying I'm getting bored. And that was what, 10 minutes ago. So everybody's gone quiet. People are going away getting their way into the galley to get their dinner. Oh, Captain Pugwash, I should have chose that as my name. Let's zoom out again. Of course, the other thing is that oh no, we've actually picked up speed. I was going to say that because we're in the two sort of land masses here, things are bound to. You'd think it'd maybe funnel the wind a bit more. Maybe that's what's actually happening. As it gets narrower, the wind might increase. As the wind now that there, of course, remember that's our left-hand side as we head down. I presume that's Goat Fell, which is the highest mountain in Arran. See, you're going to get a geography lesson here, if anything. If anything's to be gained out of this video, it's geography. So we're now cruising back down to 4 knots. So that's probably about 5 miles an hour, as I say. And we're zoomed in to 1 nautical mile. We can go closer than that to half a mile. I think that's as close as it reads, but we're actually zoomed in 1/10 of a mile, 0.1 of a nautical mile. So that's as close as we can zoom. And I think I am going to just adjust the tiller again. It's that way. And we'll hold it there. We'll hold that line till we try and catch up with this yellow line here. Don't ask me what the red line is, what that is. It's some sort of warning. I don't know what it means. So 43 minutes to go to the first waypoint, and we've plenty of water underneath us. 200 feet, 200 feet. So that's not a bloody English word. 200. There's a lot of water underneath us. That's what I meant to say. I can hear Rod Stewart right now in the distance. I am sailing, I am sailing away Nope, we're not there yet. You know what I could do? I could actually just do a live stream of a round the world trip and just leave the PC on for about 6 months. That would be probably the best video on YouTube. The boy stood on the burning deck. His legs were all a charcoal. Make up the rest. Well, now where's my buddy Seaman Staines? Seaman Staines, he must be down in the galley getting the dinner ready. I'm starving. I'll have a halibut sandwich while you're at it. And by the way, these decks need scrubbed later on as well, so once you're finished tidying up the galley, get your bucket and your scrubbing brush and get this deck swept out. Head for the rocks. Do you realise how much damage that would cause? Now, because we're on the back side of Arran, Brodick, the actual main town on Arran, is on the other side of those mountains there. It's on the other side of the island. We're on what I would call the back side of Arran, the side that you don't see from the mainland, unless you're on Kintyre, that is. So this is mast view. We've got the camera positioned looking at the top of the mast. And we can see that the swell is actually going across our path. It's going that way, if you can see the cursor. And that gap there is where we are headed, and once we get into that, or get to that headland there, we'll probably be the point where we have to turn. We have to make a course change. And I've noticed these wee glitches as well, where the sea state sort of changes, and also you see the land taking different shapes. Noticed a little glitch there when it happened. That's your profile, so you can edit your profile. What does that say? 34 Sailaway miles online. Is that as far as I've sailed? What does that say above it? That's tiny writing. I need to get out my seat. It says your chosen name will be publicly visible, so choose carefully. Yes. Your personal slogan or motto. Show position on the map. Well, we know where we are. Groups, activity, badges. I ain't got no stinking badges. Select an image. Oh, I can't see. Where's pictures in this thing? That's all programs. That's no good. Anyway, I can't see how I'm going to upload a picture. I won't bother about it anyway. Right, so that's that. What's that one there? Is that friends? Well, that's where you can send an invite out to somebody, so open invitation for everyone, or you can type in a specific name for somebody to invite them onto your boat. Needless to say, I haven't done that. So there's the list of names, and that's telling you presumably where they're from, not rather than where they are on their boat, because a lot of the other ones don't have their profiles with any information, so it doesn't tell you. Right, so that's what that does. This doesn't look as if it's updating. Let's get back down. Now, that's actually helped, because that's helped, we've caught the wind a bit more there. You can hear the water rushing a bit more. We're doing about, what are we doing, 5 or 6, what's that? 6 knots we're doing now. So it looks now that we've got the wind directly behind us. The wind's, if we go that trajectory like we have been, the wind's cutting across us, so we're not catching the full wind behind us. I don't know what the nautical term is for that, but anyway, we're going a bit faster now that I've turned the boat, that's all I can say. Yeah, you can do all of that, but as I say, I haven't fathomed that out yet. It's what another boat... No, other boats, that's a good point which I haven't mentioned. Wait, and I'll just zoom out. Now, you can see that that's my boat there, right? I'm probably going to have to go back and readjust it again, but I'll zoom out. And now, there was a guy earlier on today, I don't know whether he's still online, but he was over off the west coast of Ireland earlier on. Let me zoom in there. And you're able to see boats on the map, so you can see any of your fellow sailors who are online at the time. I don't see any there. obviously the ocean is quite a big area to cover, but yes, you can see other boats, and they'll come into view if you get close to them. You can even, now that little symbol there, if I hit the map there, that little aeroplane, if I then hit that button, my boat will respawn right in the middle of the Pacific. That's how easy it is to move around the map. So we are there. Let's go down to, usually over this way, over in the Caribbean and places like that, you're going to find people sailing about. Let's see. And of course it depends on the time of day as to how busy it is online. Wait a minute, what's that? There's one there. There's a boat there. Now if I hover over that, now this is in the Gulf of Mexico by the looks of it. Is it? No, it's down. Yeah, well there's Florida, so we're down beyond the Bahamas. That's what do you call it, Cuba. So we're down between Cuba and like Mexico. So let's zoom down. There's a little guy in the same boat that I've got, and his name's Iron Man 2. Now he, like me, hasn't fathomed out how to edit his boat yet. His boat's just called My Boat. Now if somebody else is online obviously and they're hovering about the Firth of Clyde, they'll then see my boat named as a Para Handy when it pops up. So that's one boat, one sailor out in the ocean. There's Spain and Portugal. There's where we are. Let's zoom right in again. Bound to be people out in the English Channel. That's usually, you know, you say there's bound to be people in English channels. Absolutely nobody. Not a boat to be seen. There's nobody down round about the Isle of Wight. I don't see anybody there at all. Nothing happening down there. Oh, no, nothing. And all the time the map's updating, that's why you get that flickering thing as well when you're zooming in and out. Right, so let's see if we're way offline yet. Let's zoom in. Well, we're actually almost online. Let's get it turned back that way. And we'll slow down again, of course. Right, so now we're down to, what speed have we dropped to? 3.7 knots, which is a speed that we're probably going to maintain going through here, unless, as I say, the wind gets up a bit as we get between the two strips of land. Where the hell am I going with this tiller? That'll do for the time being. Let's go back out. Yeah, if you want to sail past the White Cliffs of Dover, no doubt you can do it and get a good view of them. Let's have a wee look further up here, see if there's any other fellow Scots sailors. They don't necessarily need to be Scottish, they could be any bugger from anywhere in the world. You would think there would be people sailing round about the coast, but there's certainly nothing much happening. And I don't know how far in you have to zoom before you'll see a boat, or whether you can actually see it if you're zoomed out. But I'm not seeing anything there. Let's zoom out a bit. There's Iceland. But you have to sort of, you probably have to go to the sort of popular places. If we go down to like New York, yeah, if we go down that direction, if you look there, there's at least 2 boats. There's one there. Right, what's that? His name? Fly to Storm Flag Flying. Freeport, New York. And there's another fairly new guy, probably, Obenug. So that's a couple of boats there off the east coast of the States. There's one there. Oh, there's another one. So there's quite a few round about here. They all like sort of sailing round about the Bahamas. There's one there. Oppenheimer. Oh, that's a good name. What's that? Adolf Scholl. And there's one there. Mr. Gibbs. Queen Carlotta's Revenge. There's another one. Yeah, this is the popular places where people will sail. That's Iron Man 2 down there, of course. That's the one we discovered earlier. And you'd also think they'd be up here by Baja and California, places like that. You would think they'd be sailing. I don't see anything. Of course, it's still early morning over there. Oh, there's a boat there. There's one there. What the hell's he called? You've got to hold that over it. Zollner. And I don't know what the hell that says. So there are boats there, but because it's a big, big world, it's difficult to spot them. Right, back to this incredible journey. Let's get right zoomed in, see how we're tracking. Well, we're more or less holding a right enough line. Now let's see how far we are from the waypoint. We've got another 28 minutes sailing to get there. Oh, by the way, Sick, what was I going to say? Oh, it's totally out of my head. Oh shit, I've totally forgot what I was going to say there now. Oh, it must be age that's doing it. I can still see the swell. It's heading across us. Right, we'll hold that line. We've picked up a wee bit more speed again because we've now changed our direction. Because we need to get closer to that waypoint line to actually make that waypoint marker. And we're not far away from it. So we need to hold this line till we get there. I've never heard of Elite. What was Elite? Was that a sailing game? No, I swear to God, I've never heard of it. That was the name of the game I was trying to think of earlier when I was talking about the actual graphics of the water. Watch Dogs 2, that game that I've got, and also Grand Theft Auto 5 when I had it. They all have instances where there's where you're actually ending up on the water on various boats if you want. Watch Dogs 2, you can actually buy a sailing boat and you can have sailing races on it. And the water effects in that game are miles ahead of what the water effects are in this game. So you'd have thought that the developers might have sort of worked a bit more on it. I mean, it looks reasonable enough, but it's a bit too uniform in this state at the moment, if you know what I mean. Those other games, the water quality, graphic wise, looks far better. But again, I have to reiterate, we're only in early access. We'll give the guys the benefit of the doubt, and how the game may well develop over the next few months. It could of course die a death, like many games do. Now, how far have we got to go? When you look at it on this scale, it looks a heck of a long way yet, but it's not that far. It was a space trading game, 8 galaxies, thousands of planets. You could trade merchandise or be a pirate. You know what? I've looked at lots of those games. That Elite Dangerous and loads of those games, and it's something I've never got into. I dare say if I tried one, I might enjoy it, but the problem is I don't have enough time to play games like I used to. I just don't have that time. I spend most of my time either working or in bed now. But the game that I've got, the one that had all the hype was, what the hell do you call it? I've forgotten it as well. No Man's Sky. And there's been a few updates for it, and there's a rumour on YouTube that they're doing another big update this month at some time. I mean, it can come out today, tomorrow or next week, but there's another big update due for it. Now that's a game that you can do exploring, but you can't do any trading as such. All you can do is jump from planet to planet and do discoveries and find elements and do all that sort of stuff. And of course you're travelling big distances eventually, but there's no interaction with other players, and that's probably the biggest letdown with that game, is that you don't have any other communication with other people. It's not a multiplayer game. What's that EVE Online? That EVE Online, I noticed a post for it saying that it's now free. I dare say it's free to join it now, but you still have to then buy all the other shit that they have available if you're going to do any progression on it. That's a game that Boris plays. I don't know whether he still plays it. He never says a lot about it, but Boris, I think he's been playing that game for a good number of years. But the problem with games like that, and what Boris told me, is that if you start off in a game like that and you've got a silly little spaceship, there's all these bullies and gangsters out there ready to just blow you into hyperspace. You get robbed and bloody attacked half the time when you're just a rookie in that sort of game. So that wouldn't be enjoyable, starting a game like that and then 10 minutes into it some big bastard comes along with his fucking big spaceship and lasers you out of the bloody sky. Yeah, that's what happens a lot of the time in those games. But to me, I mean, the best enjoyment you get in games is when it's multiplayer and you're playing with mates online. Games like that are no use on your own, unless you've got people who are like-minded and, you know, 2 or 3 years are online playing. That's where you get all the most enjoyable games. That's why I enjoyed Gran Turismo so much, because we had a group of guys and we were in tears at 5 o'clock in the morning some days, racing online overnight and having a season of races. It was great. And I'm watching my stream and it was buffering for so long there. I'm actually now watching the point where I'm editing the boat, where I'm changing all the colours. That shows you how far behind it is when it was buffering. Yeah, games like Forza and Gran Turismo and all of the racing games and stuff like that, they're only good, they're only really enjoyable when you're racing against human beings, but preferably human beings that you've known online, and they're going to drive with a bit of sense rather than driving into you and cutting you up in corners and taking your back end out. We had a bunch of guys that were all good racers, and that's where we enjoyed it the most. See that other game? There's a game I would love to get. That what's it called? Battlegrounds. That's a multiplayer game where you spawn into a big map, and then as soon as you spawn, you don't have any weapons. You've got to go and find them, and then you've got an objective to do. I was watching videos in it, and it looks a good game, but it doesn't look a good game as a single player game. I used to play Operation Flashpoint when it first came out years ago, when I still had a dial-up internet, and we used to play online with it, and oh god, as much as we had a lot of fun on it, the lag was so bloody bad. Whenever we used to get into people's rooms, we'd get kicked out straight away because our ping was too high. And now I've got a good internet connection, I can't find a decent game to get into. I've got Arma 3, but I just don't play it. I don't play it at all. Squad's another military game that's a good game that a lot of guys are playing, but again, you've got to play it in a group because it's teamwork that's needed in games like that. And this game here can use teamwork if you get your buddies on board ship. Right, how far have we got to go now? 13 minutes until we get to the waypoint, according to that update. And there's the waypoint down there. And we're doing, yeah, because we're turned with the wind behind us, we're doing almost 6 knots. But that's going to change again once we square up to this waypoint line, or when we get back onto our route. I think what I'll do is when I get to that waypoint, I'm going to weigh anchor, and we'll end the video there. What the hell's the colour of this sea here? It looks like cement grey. You're getting the flares of the sun glinting on the camera. You're getting those effects. Oh, the sun looks as if it's behind a cloud. And now we're slowing up again. Yeah, this looks like tropical seas where we are at the moment. Now that's us zoomed out as far as we can go on this mast view, where the camera's set at the top of the mast. Why is it see, it's now telling us 14 minutes to get there because the wind's dropped down a bit. We're now going a bit slower. Now if somebody started this game and, like for example, they were living in Scotland as well and they were looking at the map and they were looking down the Clyde, if they saw my boat on the map, they could actually then just spawn their boat directly beside me and join me on this trip if they wanted to. That's the one thing you can do with this game. You can just spot a boat somewhere on the planet and spawn your boat right next to it. We're almost getting to the line. I'm going to get down onto the tiller. Just turn it slightly, which will probably loses more speed again. Now, what's that saying there? I've got 34 miles to go on our voyage from Skipness to Lendlefoot, 35 miles. How's it suddenly jumped? All users. Anyone else having a problem or able to solve? What the hell does that mean? I have tried restarting Sim, still cannot get map to zoom in or out. Yeah, you just need to adjust your hotkeys. I mean, the map will zoom in and out with the middle wheel of your mouse. That's how I do it. Captain Mo's just told him. Ten minutes away from the waypoint marker, which is there. It looks longer than 10 minutes to me. Oh, good afternoon, Andy. Welcome aboard. shipmate. Now, are you wanting a little update of where we are, Andy? Well, we'll just zoom out on the map, and for those latecomers amongst us, we are sailing from the north of Arran down between Arran and Kintyre. We've got a waypoint marker that we're about to get to, and that's where we're going to drop anchor, and we've got another one there. We're heading down to the Ailsa Craig, right down there. That's where we're going to, but as I say, that's going to take another 5 or 6 hours to get there. In the meantime, we are at this point on the map, just heading onto our tracking line to take us to that point where we're going to anchor the boat, and we're going to go and get our dinner. Well, as I say, I've got somebody in the galley at the moment. Seaman Staines is in the galley, and he's tidying up the boat. He's got his orders, he's got the dinner to get ready, and after he's done that, he's got this deck to scrub. Once he's done that, the rest of the day is his own. Although, having said that, when we drop anchor in the middle of the channel between Arran and Kintyre, there's not many places you can go to. We don't have a little dinghy on board that you can sail to the mainland. Right, let's go back up here. Just check how we're going. We're holding the line, we're maintaining the line. Well, when we were actually out in the Atlantic earlier on today, we were doing some fishing. We caught some halibut, so he's got that in the oven at the moment. Halibut and chips is on order. So over there, if you can see the mouse cursor on the video, that's Kintyre running right down there. The Mull of Kintyre is away over there somewhere, and that is the island of Arran. If I can get the bloody thing to turn, that's Arran there. Now, as I said earlier, this is the backside of Arran. Brodick, the main town in Arran, is over those mountains over the other side, and then beyond that is mainland Scotland. So that is your global positioning information. And we've only been sailing for an hour and 24 minutes. How exciting is this? Well, the waypoint coming into view now. And when we get to that waypoint marker, we should get a system information thing popping up telling us that we've made it, presumably. And we've got about probably what I would say about a 4 or a 5 foot swell in this part of the sea. Earlier on today it must have been 20-25 feet when I was away out in the Atlantic off the coast of Ireland. It was bloody huge. And then the closer you got to Ireland, the calmer the seas got. How far now? We're only 5 minutes away from the end of this Sailaway live stream for rookies. A complete rookie who doesn't know one end of a boat from another. I don't know my arse from my elbow or my starboard from my port. I haven't a clue. And the disclaimer that I made at the beginning of the video, this is not an educational video because you're not going to learn anything from it. You're just going to have a look at the graphics. I mean, I even didn't know how to change the spec on the boat, how to change the colours until Sick pointed out, go into the boat menu. I never even noticed. That's how. I think I've had this game 2 days. I've looked at it twice, and this is the day that I've thought I'll take a nice long look at it. Never even knew I could change the name of my boat. Now here's the thing, Andy, if you're still there, I'm going to zoom into the name of the boat and tell me if you understand the name of the boat. A little homage to BBC Scotland. There's the name of the boat. And if you're not sure about it, just Google Parahandy and you'll find out. Right, we are just under 4 minutes to go. And I think it's about time we made a little steering change here. Where the hell are we? There we go. We'll just cut right across. And we'll head due west for a little bit. Just going to cut across that line, and now we can turn back southwest, quite sharp. Under 3 minutes to go. Get it zoomed in as close as we can. Yeah, but you've heard of the Vital Spark. That was the name of the BBC Scotland comedy series made in the 70s. Parahandy was the captain of the Puffer, the actual boat. Rapidly approaching the waypoint marker, and when we anchor the boat will point itself into the wind, the sails will go down, and that'll be us. We can then end the game there, and we can restart from that point the next time we load the game. We are 45 seconds according to the GPS, and hopefully we'll get a message coming up. I'll just pop that up. We don't need the tip. Wait a minute, get rid of that. And there's it. Well, the system thing's up, but I've not got a message. Right, I'm going to go up there and drop anchor. So the boat now has turned into the wind. Get zoomed out. There we are. The boat's turned into the wind. The sails are all down, and we're anchored at the waypoint marker. If we zoom out, we can see where we've travelled in this video. The video has been on for 90 minutes. It's taken us 90 minutes to get from the starting point down to this marker. And then, well, if you look at that distance, that was 90 minutes. We're going to have the wind, unless the wind changes tomorrow, which it probably could, that's going to be about an hour and 3/4 or more, maybe 2 hours to get there, to the next marker at the south end of Arran, and then another probably hour and 45 or 2 hours to get to Ailsa Craig. So, you don't remember the vital spark? Well, as I say, if you Google it, there's YouTube videos with the vital spark, and you'll see the puffer. That actual old puffer boat used to carry coal and stuff like that up and down the Clyde. But that actual boat that was used in the television series was it's at the Ship Museum in Irvine. It's only like 7 miles from me, and the external scenes for that series were filmed in Brodick Harbour in Arran back in the early 70s. Anyway, with that, folks, I will bid you a bon voyage, and we might be back again sometime to complete this trip to the Ailsa Craig. So thanks for your contributions, thanks for watching, and we will see you again sometime.